hopefully we keep powering through this video. Hey everyone, it's Daniel
and Matthew,
and we are A to Z Thrills, and today we're coming to you with a versus video, Kings Island versus Cedar Point. Now, if you notice, we're wearing two different shirts. I'm wearing the Val Raven
and
Cedar
I'm
Point.
wearing the Beast.
So, which one's better? Well, I do want to go ahead and specify the loser of this competition does not mean that it's a bad park. Both of these parks are phenomenal parks in their own right.
Yeah, and actually when we started thinking about making this video, we actually thought about comparing all top 3 of the parks and adding Carowinds to this. However, it became painfully obvious that poor Carowinds get slaughtered by both of these parks. Literally, the only category that Carowinds would have won is Giga for Fury.
And we'll get to those in a second.
Yeah.
But first off, I want to go ahead and talk about a few of the things we're doing. We're each going to be giving the park a point for whatever they win, whether it's the coaster off, where we combine, well, not combine, where we take 2 of their coasters that are similar, like a Giga or a Hyper or an Inverted, put them together, and we tell you which one we think is the best one. Now remember, this is also our opinion, and if you disagree, go ahead and let us know in the comment section down below and why. But without further ado, let's start with location. Now, Cedar Point technically is located in Sandusky, Ohio, and where is Kings Island?
Mason, Ohio.
So
they're both in Ohio.
Yes, both in Ohio, about 3.5 hours apart from each other, maybe 4. But the only thing is, though, Sandusky, Ohio is right there next to, of course, Lake Erie. And that view is just beautiful.
Oh, the beach. And you're right on the beach, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Kings Island, Mason, Ohio, everyone's like, where?
Touche. So I think this was, without a doubt, the winner of location-wise is Cedar Point.
100%.
So point to Cedar Point.
Bing! You can add that out.
Oh, yeah. Second is hotels and accommodations. Now, I'm going to talk for Kings Island. I'll let you know, when it comes to Kings Island, there's no hotels on Kings Island's property.
Yeah, the nearest hotel to Kings Island is Great Wolf Lodge, which in itself is expensive. It's an indoor water park and bowling alley and stuff. It's a family resort, and it is a walk from Kings Island, but yeah.
Yeah. But, of course, why don't you tell everyone about Cedar Point?
So there's multiple resorts for Cedar Point. There's the Cedar Point Express, which is about 5 minutes down the road, which is not bad. We haven't stayed there, but we've heard from people who have, and they have good things to say.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, by far, the best hotel, probably in the entire chain of Cedar Fair parks, has got to be Hotel Breakers. I mean, the accommodations are incredible. The beds are comfortable.
It has multiple restaurants.
Restaurants.
You're right there next to the beach.
And two of the most important things. One, you can literally walk out the door of the hotel and walk right onto the beach. I mean, not a lot of hotels you can do that.
Yeah.
But also, you can walk, instead of going to the beach, you can walk down the boardwalk right to a gate that lets you right into Cedar Point.
Yeah, so I think this one's easy. Cedar Point.
Hotel and accommodations, Cedar Point.
Ding. Let's actually talk about the coasters themselves. Whenever you look at Cedar Point, you're looking at 15 thrill coasters. Now, I am not including any of the kiddie coasters or what's it called? Half pipe or whatever?
Pipe Scream.
Pipe Scream. I'm not counting that as a coaster, even though Cedar Point does. I'm not listing it on here.
But if we did, let's just say it's a tie, because Surf Dog and Pipe Scream are the exact same. So it's a mulligan. No point for either coaster. Moving on.
But when it goes to Kings Island, you have 12 different thrill rides. Now, I am also including Flying Ace Aero Chase as that as a family coaster, and I do believe that has some thrill to it. Now, when you look at these, let's start off with the ultimate one, the Gigas. Of course, for Kings Island, you have Orion
And for Cedar Point, you have Millennium Force, aka Millie.
Now, I will let you know, I have not been able to get on Millie. I wasn't able to fit on it, but looking at it from my own standpoint, I do believe that, with speed and just overall fun, you have to give it to, of course, Orion.
It's kind of a hot take because I think that Millennium Force is regarded by a lot of enthusiasts as their very favorite coaster. Like,
Oh, yeah.
not just Giga, just very, like, Millennium Force is their all-time favorite, and nothing's going to change that.
Yeah, so it's a hot take, and I'm sorry if I'm in the minority, but it's just, one, I couldn't fit, and that also put a damper on
Let's
it.
just say this. I think they're both really good rides. I love the theming of Millennium Force. I love the music that they play in the queue. The first drop is one of the best views of a first drop you could ever hope to experience.
Oh, yes.
But as far as airtime, as far as speed, as far as just overall thrill, I also give the edge to Orion. So that is a point for Kings Island.
Ding. Now let's go to Inverse. Now I'm going to take over for this one for Kings Island because I have to say, I love Banshee. It's so smooth, it's whippy, it's great, but that doesn't mean that Cedar Point's is bad at all. Because if you remember in our Cedar Point video, I even said that Raptor was a very good coaster. But what do you think? Like,
nah. No, I'm comparing the two. It's not even close. Banshee is by far, the restraints are more comfortable. The ride is faster, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The ride is more thrilling. Like, Banshee does things that normal B&M inverts do not do.
Like, of course, that Heartline / barrel roll at the very end when
Absolutely.
you're going so slow over it, the amount of airtime. So I think we can say without a shadow of fact.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Once again, the point goes to Kings Island.
Ding. Now,
Next up, my favorite kind of coaster, the launch coaster. And for this one, I'm not going to keep you in suspense. This is not even close. Maverick, one of the best launch coasters in the world, versus Flight of Fear, which is a good launch coaster, but it is also one that has been copied multiple times. One at King's Dominion and one at another park that I can't remember.
Wonderland.
Yeah, Canada's Wonderland, but it's not even indoors. It's an outdoors. There's an outdoor version.
Sorry. No, that's not Canada's.
It's not Canada's Wonderland.
We'll put it up here. But I will say, when it comes to what we could have done, we could have put in, of course, Backlot Stunt Coaster or Flight of Fear, and I just feel like Flight of Fear has a more punchier launch, so it's easier to compare those two to each other.
But there is no comparison.
Oh yes, as in Flight of Fear is a great ride, very good. But the amount of
Maverick is in my top 10.
Oh,
I don't know where, but it is in my top 10 of all coasters that I've ridden.
Yes.
So, and Flight of Fear is nowhere near there. I'm sorry. So once again, this time point to Cedar Point.
Yes. Now, we're gonna go on to my favorite, which is wooden coasters.
Oh,
now,
Lord.
Here, I know we have the Beast and we also have Mystic Timbers, but I think the Beast is in a league of its own, so I'm not even gonna count that against what we gotta have, of course, for Cedar Point, but it is gonna be Mystic Timbers versus Blue Streak. Now, for me, I love PTC, love them to death, but Blue Streak hurt like crazy. The seats were cramped, just no fun at all. I did get a little pop of airtime on the first and second drop, but after that, it just meandered through. But I mean, it's an old PTC train.
I wouldn't say no fun at all. I think it is fun. Is it anywhere near top tier of Cedar Point? No. Is it near the bottom? Yes. Yeah. And I mean, and Mystic Timbers, I mean, it's a masterpiece.
So
I
good.
loved my rides on Mystic Timbers. Don't go in the shed.
Yeah, don't go in the shed.
A point to Kings Island.
So when it comes to the suspended coasters, we have, of course, the Bad versus Iron Dragon. Now, of course, Cedar Point has Iron Dragon. It's been there for a while. It's alright. You don't get much forces on it or barely any swinging to the very end of it.
Yeah.
But the Bats, I'll let you take this one because he can explain it better than I can.
Well, I will say this. When we compared them during the day, the Bat is a good ride. It is still probably the best aero-suspended coaster that we've ridden. Mm-hmm. And then we rode it at night. And it went from a really good to an elite coaster. That is an experience that you need to go to Kings Island and do. If there are two night rides that you need to focus on when you go to Kings Island, they are
The
in
Beast.
this order: the Beast and the Bat.
Yes.
Yes, they're both on opposite ends of the park, so you pretty much have to run to the other end to get to the other one.
Or go 2 days. One day do the night ride on the Beast, and the other day do the night ride on the Bat.
Yeah, true.
But I think it's pretty definitive here. The winner is Kings Island.
Yeah.
Bing. All right, now we get to the mine rides. Now, of course, for Kings Island, we have Adventure Express, which just got a good, little makeover. Got some new animatronics in it, which is amazing. Whenever we went up there, when it comes to the ride of Adventure Express, it is kind of lackluster.
It's a mine train.
Yeah, it's a mine train.
It's a very good mine train. Is it better than Big Thunder Mountain at Disney? No. But comparing it to Cedar Point, Cedar Creek Calico Mine Ride, yeah.
Yeah. And plus that one hurt.
Yeah, and it's just, I'm sorry, it's just boring.
Yeah.
So yeah, easy point to Kings Island.
Also, sorry if you can hear the rain in the background. It just started raining heavily, so yeah. But so I think it's easy to say that Kings Island gets another point.
Yeah.
Okay, Kings Island, another point. Pulling ahead.
Pulling ahead my foot. Kings Island is running away with it with the coasters.
Touche.
Literally the only thing that Cedar Point has won so far is the launch.
Touche.
That's literally the only thing.
But now we get to hypercoasters. Now, we have been told by several people that whenever we visited Cedar Point, we had to ride Magnum XL 200. And let me just say, what is wrong with you people? Because whenever we got on it, it hurt us.
Now, let's backward. Let's go backward. We did ride it. We rode it. It was the very first thing we rode when we got to Cedar Point.
Yes.
It was a decent start. We liked it. It was okay.
Yeah. But after that turnaround,
no, I meant the first ride. The first ride didn't have any issues.
I mean, it still kind of hurt.
But then we rode in the front. Never again. No. The airtime is. I love airtime. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But it is so violent. I mean, my thighs, my knees. I was like, help me. Oh, I saw that.
Hopefully we keep powering through this video.
All right, let's try that again.
Yeah. So we ended up losing power. So perfect
yeah, you
way.
saw the flickering.
Yeah,
so
oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
But where did we leave off? We left off on, of course, Diamondback, the Hyper. Now I will say, Diamondback to me is just an all better Hyper. I mean, it does have that B&M rattle whenever we rode it. And yes, I know you said something about, it being a snake, so it needs to have a rattle. Not that much of a rattle, but we did also hear from a few of our friends that the train colors, we rode the green train, that is the worst for the rattle. A few of the other ones are a little bit better, so you have to pick and choose the correct train apparently. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, for me, I still like Diamondback 20,000 times better than Magnum XL.
That's all?
I mean, what is your take on it?
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, Magnum was painful and Diamondback was fun. The airtime was great. I mean, if it weren't for those night rides on Beast and that may have been the best experience at Kings Island. I mean, Diamondback was amazing.
Mm-hmm. But
so yeah, point to Kings Island.
Now, of course, so now it's time for the leftover rides. Now, for those of y'all who are keeping up with count, that is still 5 more rides for Kings Island, and I think 7 or 8 more rides for Cedar Point.
Yes.
So out of those altogether, I would have to give this to Cedar Point.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to think about the different rides that are not offered at Kings Island. Like, you have the Wing Coaster, Gatekeeper.
Yep.
The Dive Coaster, Valraven.
Yep.
The
RMC, Steel Vengeance.
The RMC, Steel Vengeance, of course, yes.
So, like,
one of the best coasters in the world.
And I mean, what do you have at Kings Island? You only have, of course...
You have the Beast.
Yeah, which is a great ride. But is it standing up to...
You have a Backlot Stunt.
Yeah, and Vertigo. So, like, with those rides, I know it's probably missing 1 or 2, but it's fine. those don't stand up to what Cedar Point has.
No.
So Cedar Point definitely gets the point for this one.
Definitely.
But now, let's go to food options. Now, Kings Island. You saw it in the video. I loved the chili, the skyline chili.
I
almost said sky high. The skyline chili. I loved it. It was so good. But
everything else
was hard at best.
Yeah. Whereas Cedar Point,
you had so many options.
I mean, and we had a different option every single day. Going back to Kings Island again, we would probably have Skyline once, twice, 3 times a lady.
3 times a lady?
You never heard that phrase before?
No. Have you?
I'm old.
If you've heard that saying, please let us know in the comment section down below, because I've never heard that.
I'm old, he's young.
Anyway, so I think Cedar Point definitely has the point for that one, so let's go ahead and go ding.
Yep.
But now, if my math is correct, that's 6-6. They are tied even. So we have to go to the tiebreakers. The racing coasters. It's very hard because you have Racer, an awesome PTC racing coaster, but you also have
Gemini,
an Aero racing coaster. And the smoothness of them both is just amazing. But for me, only because it reminds me of Thunder Road, I usually would have to give it to Racer because I have the soft spot of Thunder Road, and it's basically, you know, what Thunder Road was, because it was built before Thunder Road. Racer opened up with the park back in, I think, 1963, right?
Yeah.
So
I believe so.
I mean, you can't go wrong with PTC, but Aero, that was like one of the second or third Aero coasters to ever use tubular track, right?
I believe.
If not, edit right here. After further research, no. Corkscrew opened up before Gemini. So many things opened up before Gemini. Why did I think it was the second one? It's definitely not the second one. It's like the 13th, 14th, 15th one, because even the mine train at Carowinds was built before Racer. Like, come on, Daniel, do your research.
So it's all on me. If I choose Racer, Kings Island is the winner. If I choose Gemini, it is a tie.
What would be? Drum roll, please.
I love them both. I love both parks equally. So I'm going to give it, I also choose Racer. Therefore, by a score of 7-6, our choice is Kings Island. And going into this, I never would have thought Kings Island would have won this. Even though that's my team. I mean, hey, I'm the winning team.
I mean, we thought about this over and over and over again, because I'm just like, you know, I really had a fun time at Cedar Point, but I also...
I mean, you know.
Yes. But
we can't let that be the choice.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you compare the coasters, I mean, let's be honest, as far as other than the leftovers go, the best wooden coaster, the best Giga, the best invert. It does not have the best launch coaster. That is true. The best launch coaster is Cedar Point.
Yeah. But I mean, out of those combined...
But here's the thing. They're both amazing parks, and you need to go to both of them.
Yeah, and plus, they're pretty close together.
Yeah.
And
if you have a trip to Ohio planned,
make sure to hit both of them.
Hit both of them.
And shout out to Coaster Heat and Ghoster Coaster on YouTube. They did a podcast, and apparently we were the YouTube pick of the week for Scooby Coaster's choice. So we want to say thank you so much for shouting us out on there. It was awesome. I gave it a listen to it a couple days ago, and
yeah, we're a really small YouTube channel. I mean, we have over 700 followers, and we are thankful for each and every one of you. But it means a lot to, you know, get a little recognition in the community. Like we, it means a lot.
Yeah. But we ain't gonna keep you guys here much longer. But so, as always, I'm Daniel.
And I'm Matthew.
And we're A to Z Thrills. As always, keep calm
and coaster on.
And bye, guys.
See ya.